Hey buddies, Buggy here coming at you with another Borderlands 3 video. Today we're going to be discussing the Guardian Angel and whether or not it's kind of ruining build diversity in the meta and stuff like that. But before we get into it, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. You have no idea how much it helps me out, and let's get into it. So first things first, the Guardian Angel is a weapon that's kind of been controversial in the community. A lot of the time when people see builds for the Guardian Angel or builds using the Guardian Angel, certain people will groan and moan. They don't like it. They don't like it at all. They think it ruins build diversity. I thought to myself, does it actually ruin build diversity? Because when it first came out, I'll be honest, it was awesome. Everyone loved it. No one saw any problems. In fact, I personally saw a ton of new builds being produced because of the Guardian Angel. A lot of builds that normally weren't good became good because of the Guardian Angel, and I feel like it doesn't get as much of a good rap as it should, in my personal opinion. So I decided to categorize all the builds that we had before the Guardian Angel that were meta and each different variant, and then categorize them all and see how many builds we had before the Guardian Angel were a thing. Now, if you talk in very specific terms and you're being technical, technically there was millions of builds. There would be no way for me to count it. But I took into account broad categories, like with Iron Bear, there's only a couple ways you could really play Iron Bear in the meta, you know, railguns, possibly rocket launchers, you know, very niche type of stuff. Or with Iron Cub, you could use Flare, you could use Iron Cub to deal a lot of damage, Iron Cub to boost Moze, you could use Iron Cub for debuffs, you know, I'd put them into large categories, but then I counted each type of variant of every single build. And when counting all those, there's a total of 228 meta builds that have some variants that you could technically use on a consistent basis and kill a lot of enemies. Hence the word meta being the keyword there. So 228 builds that you could generally do with all the characters. Of course, some characters had more. I found that Zane had the most with 64 total builds, but the numbers don't matter. Actually, if you're interested, Moze had 62, Flak had 53, and Amara had 49. But that doesn't matter. What matters is how many builds were created after Guardian Angel. So I used the same type of technique and looked at all the builds that were being used and took every single variant and then counted how many new builds were created because of Guardian Angel. We got stuff like Nova's being really good with Zane, you know, being the primary source of damage. We got like slow projectile swapping if you want to try that. You could use messy breakup with Flak's pet to spawn a bunch of drones and stuff like that, and those drones get a bunch of multipliers and the Guardian Angel stuff. Grenades in general for a lot of people got really good. So I took all those and took all the variants, and we had a total of 47. So I real quick created this pie chart. I know everyone loves a good pie chart, but stay with me here. So I created this pie chart that shows all the builds we had before Guardian Angel, 228, and all the new builds because of Guardian Angel for 47. Guardian Angel, after it was created, only filled up about 17% of the meta for builds. Builds without Guardian Angel, you know, still didn't use it. Like a lot of the builds with Moze, you don't use Guardian Angel at all. You know, we have 83% of builds still with our Guardian Angel. So right off the bat, we're looking at this and we're like, okay, so the Guardian Angel didn't actually dominate the meta very much. Not every single build needed to use it. So right off the bat, it kind of makes you think, okay, so maybe people were overacting a little. And then we look at all the builds that actually were empowered because of Guardian Angel. Old meta builds that were really good, but simply got a lot better because of the Guardian Angel being a thing. So if we put that into our little pie chart here, the total results becomes that all the old builds that were empowered, 27% of the builds that were being used in the meta are now using Guardian Angel. So if you look at the pie chart, you can see that the majority of builds are still not using Guardian Angel, or the ones that are using it, you know, we still have 60% of builds that aren't using Guardian Angel, or the number could even be larger or lower depending on the variants that you choose. Right off the bat, we can look here and be like, okay, so the amount of builds that don't use a Guardian Angel isn't that much. Like if you think about it real quick, look at all the characters' action skills. All the action skills generally were buffed because of the Guardian Angel. Zane can now use Mantis Cannon as a primary way of dealing damage. That wasn't normal before. Zane didn't primarily use Novas as a main source of damage. Now you can do that if you want. In fact, this build uses that particular method. I primarily do Novas with this build, and if you want to try out the build I'm showing here, it's actually in the top right corner right there. We were actually able to deal 550 million per Nova, and that's unprecedented. That's not something you would ever see before. That is so cool. Of course you would see Nova spam maybe with Flak, but that's been removed from the game. And if Flak still had Nova spam, you know that he'd be using the Guardian Angel. It's an awesome weapon. And then like you look at Phase Flare. Phase Flare sure was able to deal like 1,000,000 damage very easily, but now you can use Fantastic Light, and Fantastic Light gets Guardian Angel buffs, and now Fantastic Light is actually a decent thing you can use generally to kill enemies as your primary source of fire. I even have a build for that as well. If you want to check it out, click top right. Moze could actually use grenades as a primary source of damage because of the Guardian Angel. Heck, even Flak. There's a build, I think, by Moxie that uses Fade Away and the freaking Guardian Angel to deal 1,000,000,000 damage with one grenade, with one sickening grenade, with Flak of no less. Out of all the characters, it was Flak, and it's crazy to me. Like Amara, if you wanted to, you could deal more damage with Phase Flare, Phase Cast, Phase Slam if you wanted to, even though it'd be better if it wasn't a close range ability, but still it gets some multipliers. You could deal so much damage with action skills than you normally wouldn't have because of this weapon. Flak's Peregrine got amplified so hard. Moze's Minesweeper damage got better. This weapon has been revolutionary, really, in the game. It's amazing. It does so much for the game and does so much for a bunch of characters, and I don't think people really realize that. And like Zane, he can, instead of quit swapping to the Unforgiven, like all the Unforgiven builds that used it for quit swapping, you can now instead crit swap to the Guardian Angel. Instead, for crit damage, you could do the 500 times multiplier, and that deals more damage overall. Like, it just empowered stuff that we already could do and allowed us to do things that we normally couldn't before, and I don't see that as a bad thing. I think that's a really cool thing. That leads to the final question, and whether or not the Guardian Angel actually affected build diversity. So by looking at that chart, there's a 21% increase of builds that were created because of the Guardian Angel. Now that seems really awesome. That's really cool. We got a lot of new things. In fact, because we got more stuff on the market, that increased the diversity. You know, we got more builds, more things to try out. All the characters could try out new type of builds because of this. And there's still tons of builds that aren't using the Guardian Angel. So I really do think that people might be just overreacting on that. I don't feel like the Guardian Angel is that bad of a weapon. I feel like it is generally a really good weapon, and it doesn't ruin the game at all. It's not like the end-all be-all, the best thing to use. Of course, it is on a lot of builds. It's in a lot of builds. Like, still 40% of builds use the Guardian Angel, and that's fine, but I don't think it's that big of a deal in my personal opinion. If you don't like using Guardian Angel, don't use it. That's what I see. But I don't think, based on the numbers that we ran, that the Guardian Angel is ruining the game or anything like that. It doesn't need to be removed. Not ruining build diversity, it actually increased build diversity. I just feel like people look at things a little bit in the negative light when you should be thinking about all the things that the Guardian Angel did for the game to allow you to try out a bunch of cool things that you normally wouldn't be able to try in Borderlands 3. But that's my opinion. Tell me guys how you feel about all this in the comments down below. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I hope y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.
And the last shall be first to immerse in a pass out heat, facing him out with a moxie melt till he woke up drowning in tchotchke hell. War in a cave with a torch on a wall, then a window arrangement of porcelain dolls.